Hello, this is Howard. This is the Be Continue on the life and adventures of Howard. And the first part was about my first love that broke my heart, but that's all right. Now moving on, years later, I have my firstborn, my son, and I was never so proud. You know, as fathers, back in the day, in the early 70s, they didn't tell you the sex of your child. No, I didn't want to know anyway, but now I heard they tell you all that. I didn't want to know. Everything is automation now. So when I first saw my son, he had big hands, man. Nice looking kid, So I was happy, and as life go on, because I didn't have a father in my life, and here's my chance to be a father, I'm gonna say everything I didn't have, I'm gonna give my son. And the main thing I gave my son, to sum it all up, is that you can read books and you can travel the world reading books. If you're a good reader, you can do anything. You can fix if you're a good reader. So I had my son, and he learned to read very early, and I didn't allow him to watch a lot of TV, but he could read Jet, Ebony, Sports Magazine. I don't care what you read, as long as it was a book. So, he read a lot of basketball books, and that was his thing. So that was the most important thing that I got across to him about reading, because I had an Aunt Betty, that used to preach to us, you could travel the world by reading. And another thing, I was raised in a house with 12 kids, and it wasn't allowed to have your friends come in the house, because the philosophy of the house was, it's 12 of y'all. If you 12 can't play and have a good time, don't bring them in here. So, and then when we all had hobbies in the 60s, and if one person go whining to one of the adults in the house, then we all had to get what they call it was called the reading circle. All of a sudden you had to find a book, and you had to read out loud in front of your cousins, and everybody laughing and giggling. So I didn't do that to my son, but I had a cousin that had 2 kids, and anytime she had all the other kids over, she would punish them. My son would come home and tell me, she'd say, "Pop, what's this reading circle thing?" I said, that was something we was raised on. It wasn't as much as getting beatings or getting punished, but you had to do that. So you wouldn't go run into your adults saying, "I'm bored, I had nothing to do." So that was all. That was part of life, though. But learning to read, reading was everything. But also, it taught me this, though. It all depends who's in your life. His mother, that lovely woman, she wanted to have another kid, but I saw the light. This is the most important thing I did in life, and I say this to anybody. Don't lie to yourself about who he or she you involved with. I could see that she was not the motherly type. 2 o'clock feeding woke me up and tell me, "Hey, go get your son." It was days when, we only had one car, and we didn't have a babysitter. So I got on a shift that was 6 in the evening to 2 in the morning. So I could be home all day while she worked at the bank, and come home and I'd be dressed and go right out, because I had to be work by 5:30. So I did that for about 3 years, 6 in the evening to 2 in the morning. Man, I tell you, she said, "Well, I think we should have another baby and try to have a girl." Now, let me tell you this. I never knew you could pick out what sex of your child. I knew that. And I said, "You ain't the mother type. No way." And I say this in all sincerity, is that I saw her for what she was. Me, myself, and I. That's another person. That's a personality flaw that men and women have. When you think of yourself first as me, myself, and I, then you might think of somebody else. So I had her in that category. I said, "Hell no, not me." Shit, I went and got a vasectomy. Hell, I ain't making no babies. No, sir. That was the most important and honest thing to this day, in all these years on this earth. The strongest thing I ever did was to say she was not the motherly type. So, and then, you know, life goes on. You know, you grow apart, and that's the thing. You know, I learned to deal with the me, myself, and I personality. You know, I don't know what young people think today, but you can't lie to yourself. You're looking at a person in the face, and you say, I love you, and you say you love each other, but then you don't feel the love. And you know damn well you ain't receiving no love because you don't feel it. And so, you know, the words sound great and the words make you feel good, but they don't if you don't feel it's sincere. So, be very sincere in what you say to somebody. If you don't want no kids, don't have no kids. If you don't want to get married, don't get married. Just be honest with yourself.
Well, you were talking about moments of your son while you're so proud to have your son.
Oh yes, I was proud to have my son because, like I said, it bothered me early in my teenage life about not having a man around. And my mother used to say, yeah, I know who your father is. She said, but he didn't want to be a part of our life. He didn't want nothing to do with us. So she said, I ain't got nothing to say about him. So I had to grow up accepting the fact that my mother said that he didn't want nothing to do with us. So, and that's how it was, you know. I had a very blessed, strong mother. She's passed away now over 11 years, but she was a very strong, my brothers and I, we talked about it many times. How the hell she do it with 6 kids? Seriously. And she was a day worker. That means she go out, y'all don't know about that, a day worker. She would go out and clean people's houses each and every day. And that's how she made her living. Then eventually she ended up working in a nursing home as a nurse's aide. And that's how she finished her life, retired from that. But my mother was very strong. She gave me my first credit card with the Heck Company. She signed for my first car when I was 20 years old. She was the co-signer. And she gave me some money to buy my first house. So she was a good woman. So meanwhile, many reasons, it's reason why I was a proud father, still is. And so everything worked out fine. And my son grew up to be a nice young man. And he's a hell of a father. He's a better father than me. But then again, he's a lawyer. So he make more money than me. So therefore he can give a better life. But everything worked out well. You just gotta watch. You're not gonna live life without getting your feelings hurt or your love, disappointments. And what you do, you learn from it, you know? Okay, subscribe to what you see here. Thank you.